Okay, we're a couple of minutes late, but better late than never. And you guys know they call it the world's most dangerous podcast. And I'm your host, Stevie Ray. And last week, guys, I had a great show, man, coming out of WrestleMania weekend. But, man, this is what happened. And this is why I didn't do the show. Man, I started talking business on the phone, and next thing I know, it was 9:30 at night, and I had forgot about my own podcast that night. I had so much to talk about, man, with the Shannon Sharp stuff, with WrestleMania. Brother, we was going to have a good time, a real good time. But, brother, I'm sorry, man. I'm talking business, and this person called, and that person called. And I didn't even realize how long I had been on the phone because that's just something I don't do, man. I'm sorry about that. But, hey, man, like I said before, better late than never. Because I know you guys been wanting to ask me all kind of stuff about these situations. And, hey, man, I can give my assessment. Now, I don't know if Sonny Ono is going to be on the show tonight because I told him I was going to be talking about WrestleMania because I missed last week to talk about it. And I wanted to talk about Shannon Sharp. And I also wanted to talk about Shadur Sanders with all my football guys, man. So, with all that being said, what's up, Jesse? What's up, Matthew? What's up, Rob? So, with all that being said, man, that's what we missed out on last week because I've been getting all these different texts from people on social media asking me what do I think about this and what do I think about that. But then when I give my assessment on things, people don't really see exactly what I'm talking about because you guys know. All right, man, let's get the music out the way. You guys know when it comes to certain social situations, hold on, look like we got somebody calling in. Shooting with Stevie Ray, holla at your boy.
Mr. Stevie, we are here for your expert tutelage. Where have you been? Where have you been?
Man, like I said, man, last Tuesday I was talking business on the phone because I got a few things going on. You know, you guys, I'm writing a book. Okay. And I was talking to the guy that's going to be, I just signed a contract with another publishing company. And you know what I'm saying. Next thing I know, brother, it was 9:30 at night.
Okay. Well, I did have one question because it's been a while. And it was a topic you had mentioned, but I just want, have you seen the movie Sinners yet?
What was the movie again?
Sinners.
No, I haven't.
By Ryan Coogler.
No, I haven't.
Man, you got to see it. You have to see it. And then, you know, when you see it, next week we can talk about it on a podcast, but you'll love it. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
You know, man, I've had so many people tell me about a few movies, man, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just hadn't had time to look at any movies lately, man. You know, and I really want to, but I've been just like so many other things going on, man.
I understand. If you get 2.5 hours anytime between now and next week, go see Sinners, take your daughter with you. It'll be worth it. So
I haven't been to a movie. I'm so lazy, brother. If I can't pull it up on my TV, I'm not going to a movie, bro. It's got to the point now where you can pull the movies up that you want to watch on your streaming, and that's how I watch movies, man. I'm serious.
I understand.
I'm serious.
I don't get out much either, you know, because I had some things going on with my physical ability, unable to walk for a little bit, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. Same brother that made Bell Station, made Black Panther, made the first Creed movie. It's worth the watch.
Yeah, I heard about it. I just hadn't seen it, man. You know, for some reason or another, man, movies is just not a priority on my, you know, with my mindset nowadays, man. But I will take it into consideration, brother. I will take it into consideration. I will do that.
All right. I'll get back to the show.
Okay, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
But yeah, guys, what's up, Lewis? Louis said popcorn is expensive. Man, everything expensive at the movies, man. The movies ain't nothing but a clip joint. I remember I could go to the movies for $5. What it costs now? I don't even know. I don't even know what a movie costs now. But like I said, guys, I wanted to talk about a few things. And if you guys got any questions, man, please let me know what they are, brother. Because like I said, I wanted to come on last week and talk about WrestleMania, because I'm going to be honest with you, man. Matthew said it costs about $18. $18? Matthew, you got to be joking, man. To go to the movies? Man, I don't know about that, brother. That's a little bit more than, not that I can't afford it. It's just the fact that it's the principle of the matter, bro. Whereas I can watch that movie in my own house for almost nothing, depending on if my movie app working or not. What bit it may, man, I'm still trying to check that out. But it's it is what it is, man, when it comes to certain things like that. But what another thing I want to talk about WrestleMania. I want to talk about Shannon Sharp's situation a little bit, but I wanted to also talk about Shadur Sanders dropping in the draft, and everybody's making a big deal about that, But the WrestleMania weekend, man, I'm trying to put together some stuff to go to WrestleMania next year, because so many of the guys that want to book you for different shows like that, bro, for some reason or another, brother, I've told you guys once, I told you 1,000 times, I really don't like doing conventions and stuff like that, especially when guys want you to come in. It's so saturated now. Guys want you to come in and work for peanuts. And a lot of guys love to do conventions because it gives them a chance to get out of the house, get away from the house, get away from their wives, whatever. And which is nothing wrong with that. If I was married, I'd probably be trying to do the same thing. But it gives the guys a chance to be around, your contemporaries of your era, so on and so forth, and the new era, and just shoot the shit. And that's all cool, man. But with all due respect to everybody, I don't know. My mind is just not in that state most of the time. But at the end of the day, hey, man, to each his own. But I want to put together a deal for next year, and I'm working on that right now. And I won't have to come in with different guys that's bringing you in. I'm bringing myself and a crew of other people in. That's what I'm working on right now. So I'm giving myself a year out to put it all together. Who is that? Gregory, it's been a while since I've checked into the podcast, but what do you think about Swerve Strickland and Booker T having heat with each other? I'm sure you have spoke on it. Yeah, I have spoke on it. And I don't know, maybe you didn't see the shows. Matter of fact, when we did the last Three the Hard Way segment, we talked about all of that. And with all due respect, I really don't want to get into it again. Because it's going to throw me off from what I want to talk about tonight, with all due respect. And I really don't want to get into something, because when I get into something, I'm going to give it to you pure focus. I'm going to give it to you pure focus, and it's going to come from a very social intellect. And I'm really going to make you think. That's just the way I am, man. And I don't want to lose track of what I'm talking about tonight, with all due respect. But maybe another night, call me back and I can expound on it the way I did that night. Because, hold on a second, guys. Hello.
Hey, bro. Troy was wondering if we could call him now. Are you okay to call?
No, I'm doing the show right now, man. I wanted to have you on tonight, but I didn't know if you was available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody listening to you right now. This is Avi, everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, don't buy what ESPN tells me.
So that's what's up, man. Well, my 3 topics tonight were WrestleMania, because I didn't get a chance to do it last week because, I was on the phone till 9:30 last week. And we was going to talk about Shannon Sharp incident also last week. And tonight we were going to talk about Shadur Sanders dropping in that draft.
Man, we always say, I'm not going to get serious, I promise you. I'm not. All I'm saying, they always give certain people expiration dates to discuss.
Well, man, it is what it is, man. And
yes, sir.
I think we're seeing certain things raise its ugly head, and they're trying to pretty much paint it in another light.
Right.
But I've made you and I have talked about this on several different occasions, Avi.
Right.
And as it pertains to things that are similar to this, and over the weekend, it started out as one thing from what I was looking at during the draft, and then it turned into something else. And now I was giving a couple of friends of mine a history lesson on how certain things work, and how certain things get to how they get to. But if you don't know the history, you wouldn't really understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I would agree with you, Steve. And you think that if you don't know really the history as it pertains to what's happening now, you're more susceptible to getting blindsided?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So,
I mean, if anything, not to sound cryptic, but without the details, nobody could have guessed that. But we thought it coming.
You know something, Avi? I have to agree with you. But this is me. I didn't think it was coming this blatant.
I would agree with that.
I thought it was coming, but I didn't think it was coming like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a little bit more covertly. You dig?
I also thought that they'd be more subtle as it pertains to someone being charged guilty before found being innocent. I thought they'd be a little more subtle about that.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying also. But once you look at it, hell, if you can assassinate a man in broad daylight, what else is new?
Oh, that's a very good point. I think they swept Shannon Sharp under the rug quicker and easier than the Cavs sweeping Miami last night. I mean, God almighty. And by the way, Pat Riley, I saw you looking over there watching your Heat lose about 55 points. A double nickel. How do you lose a double nickel?
I don't know. I think they just say, "Hey, man, let's just rest and wait for the next game." I think that's what that was, man.
I mean, you got to admit, man, they lost in the last 2 games in their home. Well, I've never seen this in playoff history. 92 combined points. What they lost by during their last 2 games. 92 points.
Hey, brother, I think they're waving the white flag, man. One team. I've never seen one team that much better than another one in the playoffs.
Oh, me neither. It's not close. But you're an athlete. You competed on the highest level. That's just a fact. So my question is this: when you see something like that, as a former athlete, wouldn't you agree that that's the team essentially quitting on the coach and management or both?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's universal.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's universal.
100%.
They already packed. The only thing is that they just hadn't packed their bags yet. They packed their bags maybe a week or two ago.
So is it time, according to you, because you're very proficient and astute about all sports, is it time for Pat Riley to go? Should he go upstairs somewhere and have simply a placeholder type position?
You know something, brother? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to step outside my bounds, but if it did happen, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wouldn't surprise me not one bit.
Because when a team gives up on their coach and management like that, they're sending a message upstairs of what they're doing.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, yeah. Yeah. But hey, man, in the work and
Before I cut off, I got to ask you a quick question.
what's that?
Very quickly, if you can tell me, because I want to get educated about this. Very quickly, if you had a top three of teams that made out like bandits, the winners of the NFL draft, the three teams that made out like winners, and the three teams that maybe didn't so much, who would they be?
You know something, man? I watched the whole first round. The second round, I didn't watch the whole thing because I was busy Friday.
Right.
But I'm going to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
The teams that focused on defense and offensive line are the teams that I think had the best drafts.
Right.
Because it wasn't a lot of offense coming out this year, especially in the quarterback position, and just a little in the running back position. I think the Steelers did well drafting a running back, in the second round, and a defensive tackle where they've been missing for quite some time because Cam Hayward is really getting long in the teeth. Even though he's still playing well, he needs help. He needs to recharge his batteries a little bit during the games, And when they're battling from behind a lot because of the great fucking Russell Wilson, an older guy can only take so much. So any of the teams that did well in that, I think those are the teams that but a big splash, I'm going to be honest with you, Avi, I don't think anybody made a big splash.
Well, do you think in Pittsburgh's case, it's just a question because I want you to let me know if I'm on the right track here. In Pittsburgh's case, can it be addition by subtraction regarding letting go of certain players, even if you don't bring some value back?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. I just don't agree with the last few years of not focusing on a top quarterback. You can have everything else. You can have everything else in place. But I'm not saying a quarterback like a Jalen Daniels. I'm not saying a quarterback like some of these other or C.J. Stroud like we got right here in Houston. What I'm saying is an efficient quarterback. You remember I told you I had to debate with that bloviating blowhard Mark Madden.
You mean the guy who claims to be a Pittsburgh Steelers aficionado?
This guy, aficionado on anything other than running his gums. But be that as it may, be that as it may, I was asking him point blank, what coach in this league can perennially win in this league with no quarterback other than Mike Tomlin?
No, it doesn't happen.
Other than Mike Tomlin.
No. Other than Mike Tomlin, yes.
Okay, last year.
He's on the chopping block, yet he's constantly on the chopping block. But that point you just made, I think, drives it right home. Nobody else probably would have their job. Nobody else would probably stick around long enough without a QB that's dominant today.
And then people talk about Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger looked like a fucking old man at the convalescent house his last 3-4 years.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And why the Pittsburgh Steelers? And I'm just saying this just to put it out there. Why didn't they start to look at the board and look at what they got here, but they're so loyal to their players? Whereas Ben, it's time for you to step away. When Terry Bradshaw was there, they had people behind him ready to play when he retired.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They had Cliff Stout and Mark Malone.
And same with Joe Montana and the case of Steve.
Right. But with the Steelers, they had Mason Rudolph, who hadn't done anything. He was a third-round draft choice, taking nothing away from Mason. But between the time he was drafted and now, look how much the league has changed as far as the quarterback position goes.
Oh, yeah.
And look at that division. The division you're in, you got the team to compete, but you don't have the quarterback to compete against a Joe Burrow. Guy won the Heisman Trophy. Or Lamar Jackson.
It makes you want to
Right.
You just mentioned the word earlier, efficiency. You don't have an efficient QB.
Right.
You got to find ways to protect it no matter what.
So the reason I brought up Mark Madden is I was telling him, he was telling me that everything stops with the coach. The ball stops with him, this, that, and the other. And I'm trying to explain to him that the coach is not the GM. The coach is not the one.
I got a problem with people saying that, Stevie, because I would then ask them, most people would say no, but I'd ask them, well, wait a minute. What happens when the team wins? Do we celebrate the coach or the players? Everybody celebrates the players.
Exactly.
But if the team fumbles and stumbles and mumbles all over the place, it's always the coach's ass.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to tell him. I say, so if everything starts, if the coach has the last word on everything, which is the most ridiculous bullshit I've ever heard in my life, and you on the radio in Pittsburgh and you saying this dumb shit, so be it as it may, I'm asking him, I said, what quarterback in the 2020 draft, what quarterback did Mike Tomlin want as opposed to the Pittsburgh Steelers GMs and the team? He couldn't tell me. I said Mike Tomlin wanted Jalen Hurts.
Right.
They picked Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Okay, who won Super Bowl last year? Jalen Hurts.
I see where you're going. I see exactly where you're going.
And who went to the Super Bowl the year before that?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So if it was down to the coach, who would be playing in Pittsburgh right now? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, yeah, you're right.
So that disturbing to look at. Let me stop right here. I don't want my audience to start thinking I'm some kind of, ogre or something like that.
I know that you're not, man. I know that your audience loves the fact that you're passionate about the Steelers, but then again, I like how you bring it up because you're one of the few people I know. You're in the media, Stevie. You're one of the few people I know in the media that doesn't necessarily throw the coach under the bus first because it's become an epidemic. I don't want to sound like I'm a soapbox, but regardless of the sport, even hockey, it seems like the coaches in the last 5 to 10 years, more so than even before, are the first victims of failure.
Right. My boy Leon said Kenny had the complexion for the protection. That might be true, Leon, but I don't think that had anything to do with it. He played in Pittsburgh and they trained in the same facility, so they knew who he was. And Kenny Pickett came in second or third in the Heisman Trophy running. It ain't the fact that he's a bad pick. He just wasn't the pick for that team at that time. That's what I'm saying. Whereas,
if you're thinking that you have it bad by listening to Mark Madden for those in Pittsburgh who hear his diatribe, I got it much worse. I heard this guy live in person in Vegas. That's all I'm going to say. And I got inherently dumber. He's passing second by listening to this. I'm not even going to go there. Let's just say that you got to listen to your boy Ray Dog because, hey man, this guy tells it like it is. Hey, where else can you call someone to talk to about a business thing, something on the side, and then all of a sudden you're on the phone talking to an audience, man. Only on Straight Shoot with Stevie Ray.
That's right, man. It happens live and in living color, brother. And that's what makes everything unique, man.
And you know what I think about this place? You even said it yourself. I don't know if you still say this, but
what's that?
When you're on Stevie Ray's show, guys, you got to be prepared to step into the danger zone all the time.
Hey, man, my boy Dale just said he's watching the show. Dale, let me say this to you, my friend. Okay. Dale, for the last few years, Avi, since you don't know this situation, Dale comes on the show every now and then during football season. He talks about football. Okay? He's a Tennessee Titan diehard fan. Now, for the last few years, he's been raving to get rid of Mike Vrabel, who's with the Patriots right now.
Right. Yeah,
okay. He wanted them to get rid of the GM. They got rid of the GM. They got rid of the coach. Then he wanted them to draft the quarterback. They drafted Will Levis. In his first season, Will Levis looked pretty good. Last year, Will Levis looked like Fred Flintstone playing against high school kids. Okay. Now he wants them to do it. Now they need another quarterback. Well, they got one. And the kid's from right down the street from Houston, Texas. He's from right down the street. Yeah, where? That guy, he's from a school where a buddy of mine actually coaches at, Avi. So I'm going to tell you this, Dale. If this kid can't help you, okay, every year they need this new. Yet they're getting rid of all their top players. All their top players are playing somewhere right now for millions and millions and millions of dollars. All of them. They used to play for the Tennessee Titans. But yet Dale thinks for under some, I don't know, maybe because you listen to AM radio too much. Please, man, stop listening to AM radio. Please, everybody out there, stop listening to AM radio because those people do not have your best interests. Dale, listen to me, man. Brother to brother, Mac to Mac, pimp to pimp. Listen to me, man. Your problem ain't the quarterback. Your problem is the organization don't know what the fuck they doing. It's that simple, bro. You can get, if Jesus Christ came down and put some cleats on, he get his ass tore up. I'm telling you that right now.
And I'll tell you what, Dale, I used to work in the media. The sexy story is that athletes, for whatever reason, the overpriced athlete is the one who didn't get it done. That's always going to be the case. They're always going to try to get a headline by blaming the player first. And if the coach is ready to get fired, if you notice, it's never more than a 2-3 hour headline.
Right.
It goes away real quick.
Right.
It's much more easy. I mean, look what they're doing to Shannon Sharp, who's a former player.
Right.
And that story's become headline news. But if this was a situation where, unless it was a really iconic head coach, if this was a situation where a coach was caught in something scandalous like this, it would have been as interesting. Because it's always the athlete that, like it or not, for better or worse, is going to get the spotlight.
Right.
News or negative news.
Right. I have to agree, brother.
Wait, if I'm bringing up the Shannon Sharp thing again, I guess it's because subliminally, I still believe what's going on, but I'm really hurt by it. I'm really genuinely hurt by it, man.
Well, the thing about the Shannon Sharp thing is this to me. And it's certain things that I know when I was a professional wrestler full time. Wait a minute, Dale just said this. Bud David left his daughter. Oh, shit, I didn't catch it, man. Hold on, see if I can bring it back. Oh, Dale, now you're trying to talk about ownership, and I've been trying to tell you shit for the last 4 years. Now you want to bring up ownership? I ain't buying it, bro. And the Titans trading A.J. Brown was the beginning of the end. It would happen before that, Matthew. It happened before that. That was just blatant. Titans had Malik Willis. Yeah, remember that, Leon? Malik Willis. He couldn't complete a pass. You know what I'm saying? The guy played 4 quarters and threw for 99 yards in a game. I'm watching the game. Then, check this out, Avi. Malik Willis leaves Tennessee and go to Green Bay. And when Love got injured, the starting quarterback, Malik Willis comes in and wins 2 games. And complete passes out. What the fuck? How that work? But with Tennessee, brother, when I tell you bad quarterback play, it was beyond mentioning, bro. I felt so bad for the kid. Now he looks like he could be a starter in the NFL with another team. What does that tell you about the Tennessee Titans? It goes to show you right there, it never was the guy. Oh, wait a minute. Bud Davis left his daughter with a team who had no clue about football. To be honest, it took me a minute to finally figure it. What? Man, you got what?
Hey, man, you know what? I understand. He wants to believe, man. He's a fan. At the end of the day, it's cool to support the organization. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're realizing that some of these untapped talents are doing better elsewhere, it's got to be the organization. It's got to.
Well, you ain't gonna believe this one, Avi. Avi, you're not going to believe this one.
What's that?
Hold on 1 second. Let me put. Lewis says this. COVID, even though COVID was all over the country, actually all over the world, except for Vietnam and a couple other places, but be that as it may, COVID ruined us. But we will be back. Titans up. So let me get this straight. I can see COVID walking down the highway and end up in Tennessee. But COVID didn't go nowhere else. Avi, what you got to say about that, bro? What you got to say about that, Avi?
We did a show about that one day, didn't we?
I don't. Did we? Yeah, I think we did, but we were just making fun. We didn't think nobody actually believed it.
I'll tell you what, man. Your community right there, your listeners, they're onto something. They really are onto something, man.
Really?
I just think. Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think it's tough for a fan to do what most of us can't seem to do, which is buy into the fact that we have to rebuild. So the best thing to do is to try to trade away the player, to try to blame the player instead of management, because management's not going anywhere.
No.
You're not going to have management
No.
personnel step down and say, hey, we're the ones that are going to take accountability.
Right.
Nobody wants to rebuild. So the easy fix is to just get rid of the player, or at least that's the mindset of the average fan. Get rid of the player and everything will be fine.
Let me tell you what I told Dale. The biggest mistake they made was getting rid of Mike Vrabel. You know why I say that, Avi? Because he had built the team in his reflection.
Right, okay.
He was built, but you go through your ups and downs, and when you start having your downs, get rid of everybody instead of giving a person a chance to build back up. Because this league is evolving every few years, and you got to adjust to keep up, and that can happen to anybody, even Mike Vrabel. It can happen to anybody.
Well, you just said the problem right there. Most managements in any sport don't want to play the long game anymore.
Right.
They used to want to play the long game.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. But this man came in and made this team into his image, and that's what I love. And I love Mike Vrabel, bro. If Mike Tomlin, what I was saying was, if they had the last few years, 4 or 5 years, if they got rid of Mike Tomlin, I would like to see Mike Vrabel take his place. You know why I say that?
Okay. Why's that?
Mike Vrabel was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers when he came in the league.
Okay.
So he knows the culture. Okay. He knows the culture.
Right.
And that's the culture he was trying to build in Tennessee. But I think the people in Tennessee so deep into blues music, they forgot about football and barbecue. Right. Yeah, that's what they interested in. Hold on a second. Stevie Ray, who is this? What's up, bro? I hope all is well with you and your family. I just want to hear your opinion on Swerve Strickland and Booker T's situation. I gave my opinion a couple of weeks ago, brother. So, it is what it is. And like I was just telling somebody earlier, I'm not going to get fixed on something that's old to me because I got other things to talk about. With all due respect, I really have already given my assessment on that when people were talking about, racism in professional wrestling and this, that, and the other. But what people didn't realize, I just give you a little snippet on it. What I tried to curtail was when we were doing 3 the hard way. It's more than one way to talk about racism. It's more than one way to look at racism if you got evidence of if it is racism. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. And I also curtailed the fact that if anybody thinks that WWE is going to, and I ask the audience, please don't take me out of context because a lot of people hear me talking and the first thing happens is your feelings pop up instead of your intellect. Just stick with me. I'm not dumb. Please. Always remember that. I'm not stupid. I know what I'm talking about. WWE is an underlying, and I got nothing against WWE, but it's this. You will never see an African-American pushed like you will see anybody else in that organization. Point blank, period, over and done with. So if you think something like that is going to happen because of osmosis, you're 100% wrong, brother. But it's
And
just,
I wanted to ask
it
you
ain't my
something
call.
simple. It's very quick.
Go ahead.
Very quick. But the only thing I'll ask you that is this. If you're thinking of pushing somebody based on public perception or it being a PR move because of the color of the person's skin, you're really not pushing them to begin with.
Exactly.
That's it.
Wait a minute. Big G says Lil Wayne, Tennessee. No, I mean Big G, Lil Wayne. Tennessee has Bud Adam curse. Come on, Big G. They don't got the curse, do they?
The curse, man. The curse of the Bambino.
You see, this is the thing. See, we ran him out of town here. You dig? We ran him out of town. You ever seen an old cowboy movie where they tell somebody, get out of town? That's what we did to him here. And he brought it to Tennessee. And, they should be glad you got a football team because of the city of Houston.
Well, you know what? To make you feel better, it's probably not just relegated to one team. It's also, if we're going to talk sports and talk Houston, there's got to be something called the Curse of the Rockets. That's a different show. I know it is.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different show. Hey, Chiefs, Bucks, Eagles.
It goes back to your boy, guys. You may not know this if you won't brag about it, but Stevie Ray happened to be very close to the late great Moses Malone. Very good friend of his, by the way. Very good friend.
Yeah.
You know what? They let Mo walk in '82, in the summer of '82. Harold Katz wasn't matching Houston's offer. Houston let him go. Ever since then, I know we got a bit of Olajuwon, those back-to-back chips. I know that they won in '94, '95. But if you ask me, ever since Mo left, Houston had a curse on them. He said it himself. He goes, they could have had himself, Ralph Sampson, and a team Olajuwon dominating the '80s and '90s.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true, man.
Oh, yeah.
Louis Chaney, 2020 was the year.
They already had that number one draft pick that produced Sampson. A year later, they already had that pick.
Wait a minute.
Can you imagine a front line of Olajuwon, Sampson, and Olajuwon? Oh,
wait a minute, man. I gotta address Louis again.
Yeah.
Louis, 2020 was the year we were going to the Super Bowl and COVID hit us. Based on what?
Wow.
Dale says I was watching about Shannon Sharp. Well, okay. Let's get to Shannon. Okay.
I know your viewers want to talk Shannon. I know they.
Let's get to Shannon. I didn't get a chance to talk to the audience about it. And real cool say exactly, man. Man, y'all need to get out of here, man. Y'all need to get out of here. How the hell COVID gonna hit one team but don't hit nobody else? How that work? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck going on down there in Tennessee that everybody got COVID? But all the other teams, players had COVID too. You know who didn't get COVID?
That's true.
You know who didn't get it real cool?
Who's that?
Me. Yeah, Ray Dog didn't get, no COVID here, baby. No COVID. I can see him coming, brother. I shut the door. Made sure my filters and my AC was right. You ain't coming in here, brother. They're out there running around with all kind of different kind of people and stuff. No. Isolate yourself. Stay away from the people. That's what I did. And I got the kind of COVID test that checks you. It checks you like everything else, but it also checks you and see if you had it before. I got that kind of test. See, I didn't get the little test that everybody waiting in line to be lied to. They got people out there saying, yeah, you got COVID. Didn't even have COVID. See, I didn't get that test. I got the daddy size test because I got to take care of myself. You dig? But anyway, getting back to Dale and the Shannon Sharp thing. Dale, I don't care. A friend of mine was telling me one day, he said, man, I don't see how Shannon gets caught up into that because, man, he seems so intelligent. I'm going to tell you something, man. The most intelligent people in the world are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth when it comes to pussy.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't get me wrong. I love women just as much as anybody else. But you know what I love more than any woman on earth? more than the most, beautiful,
Yeah. Yeah.
more than the most voluptuous.
Right.
Because believe me, old Ray Dog done been there, bro.
Yeah.
But I ain't finna let no motherfucking woman fuck with my money.
No.
No woman fuck with my money. I'm 55 years old and I'm talking to somebody 19. First of all, you ain't going to be able to call my phone. You call Abby's phone. Abby will get to me. That's how it works, brother. You ain't going to be talking to me. I'm going to lay down the rules for you. Let me give you real pimp game, Dale. I'm going to give you the real pimp game. You can't even call somebody that young. And the way these young girls think today, come on, bro. You out there, he out there in the streets. He knows this. First of all, Dale, you say, can we exchange numbers? No. I'm gonna give you a number. You call that number and that person will get a hold of me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because see, I don't need the heat. I work for ESPN and I got one of the biggest podcasts known to fucking man right now that was getting ready to sign a $100 million deal. $100 million. And I'm gonna mess that up over some pussy. Dale, you got me fucked up, bro. And any woman out there walking the face of the earth got me fucked up. You know why? Because as long as I got that kind of cheddar in my pocket, women ain't nothing.
I'm not buying any of this. I'm not
women
buying
ain't nothing.
not what you're saying. I'm not buying what they're feeding.
So at the end of the day,
hey,
brother, I'm just saying, regardless of what that happened with him or not, in essence, my point is this. My point is you got to be smarter than that, bro. You a big dog now, so you can't tread in the water and leave a big print. You got to tread lightly. It's certain rules and regulations come with being a somebody. That's the part people don't get. It's certain rules and regulations. You hear about all these different things back when Michael Jordan was playing. All these different things, all these different women he was messing with. You didn't hear about him back then, did you?
No.
But they coming out now. Well, he ain't playing now, so who gives a damn? But see, now everything is right in your face with social media, with everybody. Everybody likes to make money off somebody else's ill will. So you got to keep yourself in a certain place. Shannon Sharp knows that. For him not to know that, regardless if this happened or not, just for somebody to get out and make
Nobody could have seen that, because you're right. Nobody could have seen that career trajectory going high and escalating the way that it did so fast, because essentially he carved out a second career and he was like a phoenix rising. And when you rise that fast,
right,
and you're playing with corporate dollars that are believing in you enough to make sure that their company is considered the flagship company of all sports, you are still working for the man no matter what.
Exactly.
I know it's hard to believe that because you're making six figures. I mean, I'm sorry, you're making near nine figures.
Exactly.
That's unheard of. When you're making that much money and you have your own supposedly independent podcast, because they're never truly independent, I could see why you would assume that you're untouchable. So, in essence, what happened to him is no different than what can happen to any rich man, especially rich athlete, especially rich athlete of color, who are being reminded at the end of the day that no matter how much you're making, you're never going to have the type of independence that you deserve.
Right.
Because all you are is a puppet. Nothing's ever changed. It just looks different, and now all of a sudden the narrative has changed. Everyone's supposedly holding hands, frolicking along the grassland, singing "We Are the World, Kumbaya." That ain't the case, because the oppressor never stopped oppressing. It just looks different. Right.
But the thing is, I'm not giving them. We all know the sharks in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
We all know the sharks in the water. The sharks are there. But this is the thing, Avi. I'm not giving them. Yeah. I'm not giving them any help.
Amen. Amen. You're right.
I don't.
For all we say about Stephen A., I think Stephen A. got the memo before anybody else did, because you're not going to get anything on him.
Right.
He knows that he's laughing all the way to the bank, and to do that, He's got to be able to walk that tightrope the way that he has.
And I'm gonna tell you something about this whole thing, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not. But I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen A. was glad it happened, knowing him.
Right.
You know why?
You would think that.
You know why? Because he wants to be in the big time podcast business, but he doesn't have the charisma of a Shannon Sharp.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He really doesn't. No.
You see, that's why he's trying to do politics now and all this other stuff to get in good with both sides. He ain't fooling me, but it's very, very smart, though. It's very, very smart.
Well, Shannon's got one thing Stephen doesn't have. Shannon's got the support of the athlete. Stephen A. does not have the support.
Exactly. And not only does he have the support of the athlete, Avi, he's got the support of all entertainers.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Athletes, which are sports figures, entertainers that do everything else.
Yeah.
So, brother, hold on 1 second. Big G, little Warren. Warren Moon, hold on a second here. What you talking about? Warren Moon disrespected Houston Oilers fans again by cheerleading for the Titans. What? Yeah. When did this happen? What's he talking about, man? This dude done lost me. The Houston Oilers gave up.
I don't like hearing negative Warren Moon news because he's my favorite QB, as you know, but it's true. It is true.
Well, when I was talking about, I made this assessment for anybody out there. Vrabel got fired because he punted the ball on fourth down. Lewis Chesney on fourth down and played for a tie with the playoffs on the line. Yep, I'm a tie. Well, Lewis, if you fire somebody for that, then you didn't need him as a coach in the first place. Because I want to know who knows more than the coach, because they got a game plan. You know, it's other coaches other than the head coach, and they all go over scenarios, just like in basketball. Yeah. When you see them huddle up on the sideline, they're going over scenarios. They ain't just doing stuff for the hell of it. They're going over scenarios and see if this scenario works, how much time we got left, can we get the ball back, this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened. But what I'm saying is, if that gets you fired, it ain't the coach. And I didn't ask why he got fired anyway. I didn't even ask that. Not the coach. It's the organization. If you make that kind of decision at that time about one coach and one play, what do you have as an organization? Knee-jerk reaction. You ever heard of that? Knee-jerk reaction. I'm not sure if that's what got him fired. Lewis, you're the one telling this story. But I can't see that. But, hey, brother, it's your team. Whatever. Only thing I'm saying is this. I bet you any amount of money that Mike Vrabel Patriots will have a better record than the Tennessee Titans this year.
Oh, well. Hey, you know what? I never asked you this. This plays into what you just said right now, Steve. Let me ask you a question. Now, if an organization knows that they've got a lame duck coach and that, there's another coach down the pipeline that's available, someone they've always had their eye on, is it forgivable? Is it at least understandable that an organization would get rid of a lame duck coach, even if they're not the cause of the problem or the issue, because they know they've got someone who every other team would clamor for? Is it okay to let go of somebody if you already know that there's an option of getting somebody that every other team is clamoring?
That's a hell of a question, man. I really don't know. I think you need to pose that question to people like the Tennessee Titans that got rid of Mike Vrabel.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't really know, because we've seen coaches stay there for a year. We've seen two coaches. Right. We've seen two coaches in with the Cardinals get fired within 1 year. Two.
Yeah, that's true.
And what was his name? The coach Houston had Lovie Smith, and then right before that, Houston had Cully. They fired both of them within a year. So I think a lot of teams just don't know what the fuck they doing, man. We all see these organizations and they make $250,000 a year, $250 million a year, after paying everybody. We all see that, probably more than that with all the other stuff that they sell, probably $500 million.
I think right now, though, I think it's that, you know what it is? I think it's widespread that the player has become the silent GM. We've seen cases like that before, the 70s, 80s, 90s, where if you're a superstar player, you're going to have clout. What I'm saying is there are more players getting paid more money, even if they're not considered the stars, and they and their agents and all of their gatekeepers have sort of become the silent GMs, putting pressure on management to get rid of coaches and personnel like we've never seen before.
And I think it's more of organizations listening to the fans.
Right, yes.
Fans
have a voice now, podcasts, absolutely, yeah.
Dante just said, Steve, I agree with you 100%. When they pushed The Rock to the moon, they always made it a point to avoid his father's heritage. They just tried to use him as a Samoan. You're 100% right. Who is that, Dantes? You're 100% right. That's what I've been saying. See, the thing is this, Dantes. When wrestling organizations, okay, let's take, for instance, Ron Simmons. Back in 1992, I think, he won the WCW heavyweight title. But see, this is the thing, Dantes. He never got pushed as the face of the company. You see the difference? You see the difference? The people like Sting, the people like Vader, and others were still the people working in the main event. Okay, let's take my brother, for instance. When he got the title in that big debacle with Hogan and all that stuff, and him and Jeff Jarrett worked for the title, he still had to take a back seat to the Stings of the world, the Lex Luthers of the world, and the Bill Goldbergs of the world. You see my point? He was not the focal point of the company per se as to how you look at the champion. The whole show is supposed to be wrapped around just the aura of who the champion is. So people can put a belt, you can put a belt on anybody. Are you the real champion, though? Because the champion is the one that pulls the wagon.
I always think the litmus test is, what are they doing with the guy who has the big strap when the taping or the live goes dark and the commercials and the marketing and the appearances begin? What are they doing to the person wearing the big strap, marketing-wise? Where do we see them?
But that's
How
the
many
thing.
magazines are they selling? Right? So that's when you kind of know that the company is taking all their marketing dollars and cents and putting it behind one person.
But see, that's the thing. That doesn't happen anymore. See, this is the thing. This is the thing when it comes to when I was talking about
they don't want any one person to outshine the company.
Right, exactly. And not only that, but that's a portion of it. That's how the belt goes. At the end of the day, like I was talking about earlier, I was talking about, do you get a push? When I was saying that you will never see the African-American wrestler, not the African-American person, the African-American wrestler pushed to the top of the company.
Right.
And what I'm talking about has nothing to do with a belt.
Yeah.
Because see, they can put the belt on anybody nowadays. Hell, they put the belt on Kofi Kingston. Do you remember that? They put the belt on The Miz. Do you remember that?
Sure.
They put the belt on a lot of these guys. Were they the face of the company?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Or did they just have a belt on? Big difference. That's all.
Yeah, big difference.
And this, when my brother, when Swerve was saying he felt as though his lack of the company paying more focus to him because he thought he was doing everything he was supposed to be doing. Hold on, Matthew just said a 55-year-old man lost over 100 million messing with a 19-year-old girl. Honestly, I can't believe I can. talking about, Matthew. I can. And Matthew, you lucky it wasn't you, because I think you would have did the same thing. I would have had to get on you. I'd be getting on you right now, Matthew. Yeah, he got a little Ferrari and the top down with his little 19-year-old sitting on his lap. He ain't fooling nobody. Matthew ain't fooling nobody. He was. I can see him.
I'm not going to say the rest of the sentence, but it's as old as the you know what.
he talking about
It's as old as you know what.
Oh, they know what your kryptonite is.
I can get in trouble with Zuckerberg right now. So.
Yeah, they know your kryptonite, Matthew, baby. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? They know your kryptonite. Haven't you seen the old movies, bro? And they tell you what a brother's kryptonite is? Damn, Hoppy, you hear this? Oh, I can't believe that. Yeah, shit. Yeah, you can too.
Oh, man.
He can't believe it, bro. Shit. I'm telling you, like I said, I don't care how intelligent a man is. Believe me, man, I lived through it. I can give you some stories right now that went down in pro wrestling with people I know. I can give you stories right now. You wouldn't believe them, Matthew. If I was one of them people that really like to put people business in the street, I'm not. But believe me, I done seen this up close and personal. I seen it, bro. It's a double standard out there, and you got to know it's there, bro. It lurks in the weeds. You don't see it, but it's there. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So when I see these kind of things with Shannon and other people, it's just not thinking. These young guys, that's one thing. But an older guy, bro, come on. Like I said, if I'm a world, let's say if I was the heavyweight champion of the world, okay? Let's say I'm the heavyweight champion of the world, okay? Avi takes care of all my business deals and stuff like that, okay? Me and Avi got a meeting. We go over this, that, and the other, how we got to get all this money, because you only got a window of opportunity to get this money. It might last 5 years, might last 10 years. Who knows? We'll do it as we go. But I see a little young honey dip, okay, from afar, okay. I'm gonna tell one of my homies, go over there and tell that girl, so on and so forth, okay. You go, one of my boys gonna go over there and say, hey, Ray Dog wanna holler at you, okay. And when she come over, I'm gonna holler at her for a little bit. I'm gonna tell her what's up. I'm gonna give her the real deal. This is what's up. But you can't holler at your boy. You understand what I'm saying, Matthew? You can't holler at me. But you can holler at Avi. He takes care of all of that for me. That's why I'm paying him. That's why I'm paying him 6 figures to take care of that kind of shit for me. He's on the clock 24/7.
Right.
But he'll holler at me. You holler at him. You will never be able to talk to me in that fashion. You said you were going to do this, and you always do this to me. What? You think I need that on my resume? You're just going to get mad and hang up on me. What? Really, bro? I'm the heavyweight champion of the world, and it's Avi's job to keep me winning.
Right.
Remember what Mick told Rocky? It's my job to keep you winning.
And I think, you know what it is? I think right now, some of the athletes who have a post-career in media are realizing that they have become the new stars.
Yes.
See, the thing is,
yes.
Right, members of the media.
Yes.
I remember Mike Lupica saying this. Very respected.
Yeah, I know Mike Lupica.
Yeah.
Used to be on the sports reporters. Used to be on the sports reporters. Yeah.
Sports reporters on Sunday mornings, if you remember. I remember him saying this. He said it the other day, so of course I remember it. But he said something interesting. He said, look, members of the media right now that are welcoming the athlete who has a lot to offer, like Shannon Sharpe, who I don't care how you want to pigeonhole him, was incredible in his role.
Right.
But they thought that the days of being in the media and having a private life wouldn't be as attractive to the media or attractive to, I don't know, any Tom, Dick, or Harry watching or listening to news. They thought they would essentially get a hall pass because the athlete was the one who was being targeted and monitored by the media. When you're a part of the media, you get a hall pass because you're reporting the news, you aren't the news. But guess what? In 2025, it's now become ass backwards. Everything has been turned around.
Yes.
Whereas the media person now is being treated no differently than the athlete or celebrity.
Right.
And that's what happened to Shannon.
I think so, man. You know what? It's just an unfortunate thing. This is the thing. Bro, come on, bro. These young girls today are pretty much fixed on getting in your pockets, bro.
Yeah.
He knows that. Black, white, Hispanic, it don't matter. They're fixed on getting in your pocket in some way, shape, or form. Brother, they built like that these days. This is what they talk about in high school. So, and don't be surprised if somebody sick like a dog, sick one of them on you, and you don't even know she's been brought there for the wrong reasons.
Look what happened at the same thing, 19, 20-year-old girl. Look what happened to Donald Sterling. Remember how he got busted?
Yeah.
I mean, right, you're talking about a 76-year-old owner and a 21, 22-year-old hussy.
Right.
What she was. I mean, really. It's really no different. Again, I think that you reach a certain level of success where you just think you're untouchable.
Exactly.
Because for all we know, Shannon probably had, and you and I both know this, and I certainly know this for 20 years worth of experience. When you have yourself a damn good PR firm behind you, hey, MJ had one.
Right.
A lot of times you trust the fact that the dirty little secrets that are in your closet stay there. But in 2025, they're way harder to protect than they used to be.
Way harder. Matthew just said, I don't mess around in the snow, Mr. Stevie Ray. I had it been a black woman, they have caught me red-handed. And this is the thing, though, Matthew, I understand exactly what you're talking about. But it's not black or white, bro, in this situation. Yeah. It ain't black or white.
No.
It's female, period. And like I said, she could be black, white, Hispanic, Asian even. This is what goes on with young people now. Getting with somebody with the bag and try to bleed it out of them. Some of them are cool, but that's what I said. That's why I gave you guys the example of what I'm talking about. If I'm in that position, you trying to get with a little honey dip, dog, you can't talk to me. You can talk to Avi. Y'all get what I'm talking about? These are the rules, baby. The rules is this, that, and the other. Now, it might be something in it for you, but until I can trust you, you don't talk to me. You talk to my business guy. You talk to Avi. Avi will talk to me. Me and Avi will have a certain phone between him and I for that only.
Yeah.
Other than that, you ain't getting up in this. I'm just being honest. That's how you handle your business, man. It ain't like you ain't got the fucking money. But that way you protect yourself. So you don't get no taping me all over the phone and stuff while I'm saying, I'll choke you. You ain't gonna get that. Not for me. I already know. I ain't gonna never get that close to you. I ain't gonna never get close to somebody that my daughter is older than. Kidding me?
Absolutely.
I ain't gonna never get that close to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know what you might be about. But that's it on Stephen A. thing. But the Shedeur Sanders thing, guys.
In fact, you brought this up because I think, I know that when you do decide to end the show, and I want to let the viewers know that a good example of what you just brought up is something I'll bring up because they may not be privy to it. I only bring it up for 5 seconds, then I'll move on. But, I mean, a good example is, Rick Mahorn. Rick Mahorn got in touch with me today because he knew he couldn't get in touch with Stevie direct. I was the middleman, and he told me to pass the message to Stevie. He says that if he ever gets a chance to be on screen with Stevie in the celebrity tournament that takes place every Saturday night, that he would love to show the world what he's all about as opposed to what Stevie's all about, because one of his goals is to take Stevie Ray's viewers and make them his own.
That's great.
That's Rick Mahorn. That's Rick Mahorn. I don't know if that'll happen. It might get booked. We might see Stevie and Rick in this tournament. I'm not making it about that. I just kind of want to let your audience know that, hey, there might be something cooking over there. That's all.
Hey, the guys know they pay attention to the new network. I've had a few people ask me about it on the show. So I just make sure they get the link and watch the show, and a lot of them are watching. So as far as Rick Mahorn goes, if I was him, I'd shut my mouth, because when I see him again. He think I ate him up last time. I'm gonna really eat him up next time I see him. So Rick Mahorn, he better step back and look over his shoulders, because old Ray Dog could be standing right there.
I'll tell you what, guys. Even if Stevie go down, something tells me, a birdie told me that we might see Stevie face Rick Mahorn in the second round matchup. I don't know if that's official, but if that goes down, I'm telling you, don't want to get in the way of the scholar. You may call me the professor. This guy's the scholar. This guy's going to eat everyone up in the tournament. I'm in this thing, too. I don't want to face this guy. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, wait a minute.
Friend, brother, mentor, all those things. Stevie, yes. Check off those boxes. I don't want to face Stevie in a battle of wills, in a sport of the mind. No way.
Hey, wait a minute. Marco just said something. Hey, Stevie, so do guys really press hard backstage to get a push? That's the rumor from years. Marco,
it's not really a rumor.
At the end of the day, everybody wants to be in a better position. And that's not a pro wrestling thing. It just, sometimes it behooves me that people look at professional wrestling as if the people that are in professional wrestling are any different than people on any other job. If you are a defensive back and you're not starting, you go out of your way to be the defensive back to start. If you're second string or third string, you kill yourself in practice trying to make the coaches notice you. It's no different in professional wrestling. It's no different. Have you ever seen the backups come in when a basketball game is out of reach and you go, damn, these motherfuckers are horrible? That's why they're on the bench. That's why. Because they're not very good yet. But they're trying hard to get there. But see, wrestling is based on a lot of opinions, other people's opinions, as to what is conducive for the show or not. That is other people's opinions, not so much as sometimes who deserves it and who doesn't. So yes, people are, jostling, if you will, to try to be noticed. But it's not malicious, though. It just is what it is.
Well said.
Yeah. But we're gonna finish with the Shadur Sanders thing. That's the talk of the world right now. And Avi, I want you to give me, since we got the professor on the phone, man, I wanted to try to get him on the show tonight, but I didn't think he was going to be available. So I didn't want to call him at the last minute. But we got him anyway because he called in.
Oh, this was fun.
Okay? We called in.
A lot of fun, man.
But I want to get his assessment on Shadur Sanders and everything that's been said. And anybody out there that's listening to me right now, I want to get you guys' opinions also as to what you think that happened. And then I'll give you mine. Because, see, mine is going to be totally different as to how I look at things and how other people. Because, see, I've been listening to the news and I've been listening to all the guys on television say this, say that, so on and so forth. And I agree with some of them to a certain degree, but I think they can only go so far that they have to cut it off. I think they can only say so much before they have to cut it off. Because, see, I think this is something that I've seen in my lifetime, but a lot of people have forgotten about it. And y'all know old Ray Dog, he got a lot of stuff in his head for a long time. And I've only seen this happen in football one time.
Sure.
Once. Now, we've seen people drop, that was supposed to be here, there, and the other. And now that's an art form. Everybody knows who should be picked at what place, so on and so forth. Everybody are experts now. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, do we ever hear from the teams as to what they like and what they don't like? We never do.
Right.
We always hear from the people that's not in the war rooms, that's not in where the GMs and the scouts, people in player personnel, as to what this man represents and what he brings, and would he be a good fit for what we want to do. We never hear those. We always hear them from everybody else. But see, old Ray Dog, I'm cognizant of that. That's why I like listening to people, but that don't mean I believe what you say.
Right.
But we're going to let the professor go first. And Professor, you've been listening to it. I don't know if you and I had a conversation about this or not, because we've talked about so much other stuff. But man, give me your assessment on this whole thing.
Are we talking Shannon?
No, we're talking Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, that's a damn good question. I look at it, there's two ways to look at it.
Okay.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you think it's as clear cut as it's being made out to be?
It all depends on what message that you think is being sent. This is a message. But who is the message to? Is what I've been asking people.
Okay. Well, I want to get your perspective on it.
Well, that's why I was asking you.
Well, I mean, I want to get your perspective and then give you mine.
Huh?
I want to get your perspective on it because I feel like if I give you mine, I don't want to have to be long-winded about it because I know you're about to wrap. What is your perspective on it?
Okay. When something this drastic happens.
Okay.
Oh, my boy Matthew was just talking about Rick Mahorn. Okay, I'm trying not to read that. But anyway. Hold on.
Don't worry, Matthew. That's coming. It's coming.
Matthew gonna be right there too. Shedeur is going to flop like concrete pancakes. Big G Lil Wayne says. Okay, Big G. I can see you're not a fan.
But what I'm saying is if you take the fandom out of it, is it that clear cut?
Let me put it like this, okay? People have been, when I first seen the first couple of rounds, I thought, wait a minute, maybe Shedeur and some of the people at the Raiders, because the Raiders was talking about taking him because Tom Brady is a big fan. And, Tom Brady has invested into the team now, not that he has any say over anything, but it's easily if Tom Brady goes to the powers that be of that team and say, hey man, I think y'all should pick this guy. They're gonna listen to him because he's Tom Brady and he's a quarterback, right or wrong.
Yeah.
And he's worked out with Tom a few times. So I'm thinking that's what happened. So he dropped to the second round and they will pick him in the second round. But then that didn't happen. Then it didn't happen. Then it didn't happen for the third round. Then it didn't happen for the fourth round. And then finally it happened. Finally it happened at the end of the fifth round. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is something different now.
The 144th overall pick.
Right. So this is something different now. So that's when I started trying to think, wait a minute. I'm listening to all these people said, I'm listening to Stephen A. said, oh, the owners have colluded against him.
Collusion.
You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other, so on and so forth. Then I started watching his, he didn't go to Green Bay live. He stayed at home, built him an area where he's going to have this big party, with his family, with all these different people there, hip hop people, he had people dressed up in costumes doing all this stuff and, showing that his new brand, if you will, which is, what does he call it? Legendary.
Right.
And he has a signature, a moniker of a S with the dollar signs in between it with a number 2 attached to it. So in essence, he's already branded himself and is already a walking entity before he even comes into the league. And I was like, wow, that's unusual. I've never seen anybody do that before. Okay, with the cachet that he has, being Shedeur Sanders is probably the most famous college football player. I guarantee you it's more people that knows him than Ware got
not even close.
That got drafted number 1. Aubrey just got cut off, y'all. Hopefully he'll hit back. But let me continue with this. And like I said before, I've never seen anyone that has already made his own brand and logo before he even comes out of college. So that's stuff that won't be sold under the NFL banner. That is stuff that will be sold under his own banner. And I guess they've already cleared it, whereas you can do that. Real Cool say Tom Brady is also, no, he ain't no mentor, brother. That ain't no mentor. Just because we worked out a couple of times don't make him a mentor, if you know what I'm saying. Tom Brady ain't got time to be working out with somebody on a daily basis with his schedule. But they did work out a couple of times on the offseason, I think when he first got up to Colorado. But that don't make him a mentor, please. A mentor is something totally different. But Ronnie says, I still believe that he has a good shot, at least being a backup, if not the starter. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, and Tom Brady was 6th round, not 7th. Yeah, that's true, but that's not the point we're talking about, though. Nobody is talking about his skill set. I know people have brought that up. He has to hold up the physicality of the NFL. Yeah. Shedeur will have a shorter career than Dwayne Haskins. Well, in essence, Dwayne Haskins really didn't have a career, man. He never got into a groove anywhere. If you really think about it, he didn't really. But the professor, the phone cut him off, and let's try to call him back, man. While we got a minute. Man, my phone tripping. It won't even my phone tripping, y'all. It won't even let me call him. Oh, wait a minute, there you go. What's up, Dan? So his phone must have cut off. It must have went dead. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm calling it back and it ain't even, he's not picking up. But be that as it may, I'll finish with this, guys. I think everything that we saw with Shedeur Sanders was a lesson. That was a lesson. That was a lesson telling Shedeur Sanders, his dad, and everybody that's got any ideas that's coming in this league after Shedeur Sanders, with your NIL deals and these kind of things, and you think you're coming in here like you running something, like this league belongs to you, and we're going to humble you. So they needed Shedeur Sanders to see that. So all these other little kids that's coming out of college, and if you think you're coming into our league with that kind of mentality, not that they hate somebody, but they hate the image. That's what they hate, the image. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The NFL will never let their product and their brand turn into the NBA. See, that's what they're not going to talk about on television. But I'll talk about it. You're not finna turn this into Hip Hop USA. I'm sorry. The NFL would never turn into the NBA. Now, ain't nobody got to believe me. I don't know nothing. I really don't. But I see things for what they really are. This wasn't a Shedeur Sanders thing. This was an image thing. Football, NFL football, does not push their brand toward hip hop, young black America. Y'all can get on, but no, we would never cater to you. We would never cater to you. The majority of these guys, owners in the NBA, vote right wing. They might not act like it on television, but the majority of the owners in the NBA support right wing America. You gotta listen to me. I just know what I'm talking about. I've studied it. We know who they donate to, Jerry Jones included. This is America. That's their right. I do not frown upon that. But for all you other guys, because see this, they've been waiting for the backlash of the NIL deals from college. And what was it going to create? Now you see what it's creating. And the NFL is saying to someone, to the whole nation's face, we don't want it. And you're not going to bring it in here. Sorry. Now they can turn it into this and turn it into collusion and turn it into that and try to make it seem like it's about Shedeur Sanders. That's what I was trying to tell you. It ain't about Shedeur Sanders. He just the guy that they chose to do this with, because other young African Americans, brash, bold, and confident, are going to be coming up behind you. Then we got to deal with them too. You ain't got to believe me. You ain't got to believe me. And they ain't never going to admit it. That's why I say stop listening to AM radio. Big G says NIL has ruined college football. Dudes can enter and transfer portal at halftime. Well, Big G, if that was true, why do people love college football so much? Why does it make so much money? College football is about making money, man. Everything you see in life when you walk out of your house is about making money. Now, what is done is trickled down to the player now. Don't blame the player, blame the game. Because at the end of the day, college football goes on. You guys got to get yourself ready for a new frontier, not in just sports, in life. Everything as we know it is about to change. Everything. But see, these suckers in the NFL, they can hold on to yesterday as long as they can. And that's what they're going to do. Believe that. Believe that. Matthew, they try to smear or try to get rid of or smear all the players with self-confidence in them there. I don't know if they get rid of all, but it's a way to do things, Matthew, and it's a way not to do things. All depends on what they can consume. This, they did. Like I say, they're trying to make this about, oh, he didn't go to the combine. When he did his interviews, this happened. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And that may be true. Maybe he didn't. And nobody's ever done that before. That I got so much confidence, I don't really need all of this. But the next guy might be worse than him. I ain't going to say worse in a bad way. Worse to them in their eyes. The next guy, whoever that may be. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This was, let me put it in context. Who rules? Who runs shit? Whose shit is this? At the end of the day, this is called a lesson. Whether you want to listen to it or not, this is a lesson. So all the stuff about, oh, he can do this, he can play, he might be able to do this, he might be back up at the end of the year, he might do, all that might be true, but that's got nothing to do with the lesson. And let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, they might not be finished with him yet. They just might not be finished. Real Cool said they told him he's not bigger than the NFL shield. Nobody is. Nobody is. At the end of the day. Wait a minute, y'all. Sonny said he was doing a podcast. The NFL has handicapped defense to the point where it's unreconcilable game. Changes his own. Big G, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Nothing ain't gonna stay the same. That's why when people get up saying, man, I wish this was still this way. I wish this was still that way. Brother, you just need to hold on to your memories because the world is going to change. Everything is going to change. Everything. No, I didn't fire Sonny real quick. No, he's just been busy. He's just been busy. Everything is going to change, man. And it ain't never going back. That's the evolution of progress. And that is why the NFL wants to hold on to their brand as long as they can before they have to relinquish anything in any way. Like I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. The NFL brand will never turn into the NBA brand, like an all-star game. Like an all-star game looking like the Source Awards. That ain't finna happen, man. It ain't. That might be cool with us, but we don't own shit. And one way we're gonna realize that. Because for something like this to happen, like I always say, it's a bigger picture. Can't be personal. It's a bigger picture. That's the part we don't get. That's the part you ain't heard nobody talk about what I'm talking about right now on no sports program. You know why? I'm unfiltered. They got to be. Or they don't want to say something, gonna get them in trouble. Or they just can't fathom what I'm saying. But I could be wrong. We'll see in time. I could be wrong.
Power off. Power on.
But in the real world,
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
In the real world, how many times have we talked on this podcast? And I ain't trying to pat myself on the back. How many times have I been wrong? How many times? Maybe one. I can't remember it. But maybe one. Maybe. Maybe. Because see, the end of the day, I see things totally different than everybody else, dog. I read my history. And if you know your history, history always repeats itself. Now, the Shedeur Sanders thing was done one other time. I'm going to see if y'all remember this. Y'all probably don't remember. Y'all too young. Y'all know Warren Moon. Somebody mentioned him tonight. You remember? Warren Moon came out. Warren Moon was MVP of the Pac-8 back in 1978. Warren Moon was the Rose Bowl MVP. In 1978, ladies and gentlemen, Warren Moon was not even drafted. Why wasn't he drafted? That same year, Doug Williams was drafted number 17 by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One guy playing in the SWAT, one guy playing in the Pac-8 against USC, UCLA, Arizona State, Arizona, Washington State, all these teams. The man wasn't drafted. You know what everybody said? He wasn't drafted because he's a black quarterback. That wasn't why he wasn't drafted. And I'm going to end it with this. And we can compare it to Shedeur Sanders. The people that ran the NFL then, when they looked at Warren Moon, you know what they saw? They saw the future. And they wasn't ready for it. The man wasn't even drafted. And back in those days, they had 17 drafts. 17. Go figure that one out. And see how it correlates. Peace.